Muy buenas a todos los seguidores de Tyris Wrestling, yo soy Chos y bueno, mañana Tyris Wrestling celebra Project Godella, su show más importante hasta la fecha. Hoy, de manera previa al evento, ha habido un seminario en el local de entrenamiento de Tyris Wrestling, donde nos encontramos ahora mismo, en el que hemos tenido a una de las parejas más icónicas del wrestling británico. Y bueno, los tenemos aquí con nosotros para hacerles un par de preguntas. Y bueno, nada más que añadir. Vamos con la entrevista. Mark Haskins, VIC Haskins, thank you for being here with me.
You're welcome.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. I saw a bit of the seminar from here and it was really cool.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
Thank you, man. There's nothing I enjoy to do more than, beat up young hopefuls who, who still have dreams in this business. I think the best way to break them in is to show them that it's all downhill from here.
Yeah, sure. So, I wanted to ask you just about that. How was the seminar and how's it been meeting all the Spanish talent that came here today?
It's been really just a waste of my time, to be honest with you, man. They're really terrible and they need all the help they can get. But fortunately, working with an absolute megastar like ourselves, they're now destined for greatness. So, yeah, within the next year, Spanish wrestling is going to overtake the world, and it's going to be solely because of our influence.
Giving chances to people here. That's cool. So, I was, as I said, I was watching some bits of the seminar, and you've talked about a lot of interesting topics. But if you had to choose from everything you've taught and advised to this talent today, if you had to choose one main thing, one bit of knowledge that you'd love them to carry with them for the rest of their career, what would it be? Tough question to start.
Whatever we do in this business, thank you, by the way, this is lovely. Whatever we do in this business, we're doing it for an emotional connection, an emotion from the fans. And whether you're doing a promo, whether you are managing, whether you're reffing, you're bringing out a moment and you're bringing out an emotion and having that emotional connection with the crowd. So that is the main thing that you need to focus on, is getting that emotional connection.
Yeah, sure.
I would say it's definitely manifesting and believing in yourself, right? It's like whether you do or don't do something solely comes down to how far you're willing to push yourself in order to get there. Like I said to them earlier, all jokes aside, like I was saying to them, I spoke to one of the guys. I said, okay, so what's your dream? He's like, oh, I want to wrestle in front of, lots of crowds over here. I'm like, cool. So how many? He's like, well, I want to give you a realistic number. I'm like, no, scrap realistic. Because in my opinion, when you say something like, oh, I want to be realistic, it's only putting a cap on how far you can actually go. Okay. And I know this because when I was a kid at school, right? Like I was a skinny fat kid. I wasn't athletic. I was the shy kid. I was, bullied a lot, right? And my teachers told me I had to work hard at school and I had to pay attention and all these things because there was no chance I'd ever make it in professional wrestling, right? And I've been told that repeatedly. You're never going to make it. Why'd you bother, right? Fast forward, 17 years or so. Okay, I've wrestled in Wembley SSE Arena 3 times. I've wrestled in Madison Square Garden in front of 20,000 people. I've, had a wrestling figure made of myself. Do you know what I mean? Like going from a small country town in the middle of England where no one really knows where you're from to the heights of the success that my career has had, right? For a lot of people, they would be realistic and think, oh, well, I'm not going to set my sights so high because I don't think I can achieve them. You're just manifesting that for yourself, whatever it is, whether it's something ridiculously, the bar is ridiculously high or whether it's not, the chances of you getting there is solely whether you believe that you can get there or not. Do you know what I mean? So if you can set a bar, then why not set it ridiculously high? Like my wife says, if you aim for the sun, shoot for the moon, and you'll end up in between I've totally botched this.
Shoot for the moon and then you end up in the stars.
There we go. That's why I keep her around.
Sounds good. Yeah.
The bottom line is what she said.
Yeah. So it's about more about avoiding closing yourself in that comfort zone and always trying to get a step further, right?
Yeah, 100%. Get out of your comfort zone, right? I see it in for so many people. Like I see that they, like you're never going to exceed your greatest expectation, right? So just constantly push yourself to that next level, whatever it is, right? Don't try not to set a limit of how far you can go, because you're only going to stop yourself. Like once you reach that limit, you know, think beyond it, or think like there. You know, one thing that we try to do with our kids is that we don't try and teach them to think outside the box. We try to teach them to think like there is no box to think within. Do you know what I mean? So just, you know, constantly keep adapting, keep, you know, striving for the best, basically.
That's cool. So also in the seminar, you focused more in the in-ring aspect of wrestling, while you've done a seminar on, you know, the roles of being a manager, an announcer, a referee. So first I wanted to ask you, Vic, about the importance of doing a good job as a manager, as a referee, all those roles that maybe they do get overlooked often, despite how key they are in wrestling?
Well, wrestling is called wrestling for a reason, because we mainly focus on the wrestlers. But it's like a good movie. You need supporting acts to hold those wrestlers up. And that's exactly what managers do. That's what ring announcers do. That's what, you know, referees do to a certain extent. They help tell the story. If it's just two wrestlers, yeah, you can totally have a match. That's just, you know, there's no managers, there's a ref, and they're not very interactive. You can still tell a story. But if every single match was the same, it would get really boring really quick. We can add a different dynamic, a different story. And that's really important, because we like to keep people on their toes. And, you know, people get a bit, you know, they kind of poo-poo the kind of, oh, supporting act, I don't want to be that. But a lot of people, you know, they succeed in the shadows, and that's what we do. And there's most definitely a need and a want for the supporting acts in wrestling as well as the wrestlers.
Also, as a manager as well, you have such an important role to promote the talent that you're working with. A lot of people struggle to promote themselves. So having somebody that can stand next to you and big you up for you, that's a great asset. Why wouldn't you want something like that?
Yeah, they can mean the world to a wrestler that maybe is struggling, and when he gets a manager that fits him like a glove, like, I think it's a perfect situation for him. Yeah. So, and on the other hand, I have to ask, as a wrestler, how important is it to maintain a big interest over the years in learning lots of stuff, always learning new stuff, maybe even take some things here and there from other styles, and maybe like very different from your own style?
Yeah, I think it's very important that you never lose that thirst for more knowledge. You can never know too much. And just when you think you've got it all figured out, something will change. A lot of the learning that you go through just happens between the ropes. You get out in front of an audience, it can be little things in regards to, you know, how you attack a weekend. For example, like this weekend, we've become very efficient at going through airports where we don't even get stopped. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, you can always be adding something else to your game. Like you're only as good as your last match. So constantly try and improve and think about, where's the next step that I can take this? You know, like if you're
Settle.
Exactly. You're just standing on the shoulders of the giant that you were last week. So how can you be better than that now?
Always build on top of that, right?
Yeah, never settle. Never settle. You're never too big to learn something new. You're never too knowledgeable. You're never too much of a superstar that you couldn't be better in some regard. Do you know what I mean? Just constantly stay humble, stay hungry and humble. That's the important thing.
Yeah. Cool. So now let's talk a bit about Spain. I know, Mark, you already wrestled here in Barcelona back in 2014. And
you know it better than I do. I couldn't remember that.
Well, but do you remember having that match? Anything about the travel?
Match.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
What did I wrestle?
It was Iker. I don't remember his surname.
How could you forget?
Iker. His name was Iker. and I'm sure he was a pretty big name in the Spanish scene back then, but I can't remember his
He was a big name, but you forgot him?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not anymore.
So apologies to the wrestling. But yeah.
I know. I wanted to say I'm really sorry that this man right here forgot you.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
So sorry, actually. But yeah, in that moment, the Spanish scene was actually pretty little compared to what it's getting where it's getting now. So since then, as I said, Spanish wrestling has grown a lot. We've got now Axiom killing it in NXT, for example. Just before the pandemic, White Wolf Wrestling was doing huge shows in Madrid. Also, during the pandemic, lots of new schools emerged, and one of them was Tyris Wrestling. And 3 years later, they're doing their biggest and most important show to date. So, what's your thoughts on the current state of the Spanish wrestling scene?
Well, I think now that the Spanish wrestling scene has once again invested in the Haskinses, I think that it's destined for big, big, big success, right? And you're gonna see it, like I said, within a year now. Now that I have, pass the torch to some of these trainees today, they're going to be fantastic. They're going to go on and have incredible careers, and they're going to blow the scene up. So it's going to be incredible.
Definitely the start of something great, right?
Yes, absolutely. What we touch turns to gold. So this scene, it's going to be incredible from now on.
Cool. And well, more specifically, talking about tomorrow's show, Project Godella, you will be facing TJ Charles after he challenged you in a promo. Have you prepared for this match in any special way? What can we expect from
No,
that
not
match?
at all. No, I do what I normally do. And I'm well, first of all, I feel like this is kind of unfair because he's Irish, right? And
Right.
he's now booked in a warm country. Like he's gonna perish. I've been to Ireland during the summer and they say, oh, it's hot out there. And it's like, no, it's still cold compared to everywhere else. He's but I've heard many things about him. I've heard that he's been very much influenced by myself, which is all the preparation I need because I know myself extremely well. And he's
That's a really good point.
Exactly. So I know that, is difference where, there's a difference to watching one of my matches and then being in a ring with me. I'm a nightmare, dude. Like, and especially with the combination of the Spanish heat and his Irish blood, it's going to be a straight victory for Skinsy boy here. He is going to perish.
So, talking a bit more about TJ, what do you think about the fact that he's decided to challenge you for a match in such a big scenario like Project Godella is going to be?
Some people like to get slapped by God. Do you know what I mean? Like, is it that, or is he just stupid?
Well, we'll find out tomorrow, won't we?
I guess so. I mean, it's exciting. I at least,
New meat.
Yeah, I've never beat him up before, so that's exciting to me. But I also think that it's very important that I heard that he's one of the top dogs, if not the top dog around here. And I'm gonna roll in on show number 1 and destroy him, which makes Tyris Wrestling mine.
I see you're very confident about tomorrow, and I was actually a bit afraid of asking you about TJ because we saw after the last Progress show that you two had a bit of tension. Because maybe you showed a bit, maybe you showed a bit too much respect for men like Tyris.
Well, first of all, she's living every woman's, wildest dream that she gets paid to shout at her husband. It's, it's a dream come true, So I think that maybe she just took that too far. I thought Tyris did all right in that match. We've wrestled a few times. It's the first time he beat me. He beat me in Birmingham, and fair props to him. I gave him a little nod, gave him a little clap. Okay, fair dude, son. All right, you're doing okay. But she wasn't happy with it. She wanted blood. So it's the same story with women. They're never happy.
I'm glad you both are confident about tomorrow, and that I didn't raise that tension with my question. So, going back to Progress, back in 2020, Vicky, you along with other talents took control of Progress, and since then, now bit by bit, crowds are back into the shows. There are new owners, and I wanted to ask you both about what the future holds for Progress.
Well, as long as we're involved, it's going to be bright. So that's one thing. I mean, on a serious note, it's good to see the UK scene as the Spanish scene grow now. I mean, after COVID, everything was hit. So, no matter if you were bringing in thousands of people or, you know, hundreds of people, you have to build it from the start again. And with Progress being under new management, it means that we've got, you know, fresh ideas. We've got a new perspective on business, as well as wrestling. So I think it's exciting going forward. I have no idea if, you know, what their idea of Progress will be in, say, 5 years time. But like I say, as long as they keep us on board, then I think it will be doing just fine.
That's great. And well, you wanted to add something to that? Maybe I interrupted you.
No.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. That's cool.
It's like holding.
Yeah. That's cool. So for our last question, I wanted to focus on you're a power couple in and out of the ring, and you've been working with each other for many years now. So I wanted to ask you what it's like to work with each other.
Why do I have to?
You're the one who wanted to hold the microphone so badly.
I like holding it, but you're the one that likes talking.
You go.
Well, as you can see, it's a complete and utter dream, right? There is nothing that I love more than working with her. It's great.
I like it too.
That's the greatest answer you could get him. So that's fine.
Perfect.
Living the dream.
One last thing. Usually I would ask you both to talk to the fans that will be attending tomorrow, but I'm going to shake things a bit up now. And I want you to talk to the fans that are hesitant about going to Project Godella tomorrow.
The fuck are you hesitant about?
Yeah, why would you be hesitant?
I'm going to be there.
I'm going to be there. We're both going to be there.
I'm not going to be wearing very much. So there you go. There's a foot.
What more of a reason do you need? My wife's going to turn up. She's going to look sexy as hell. She's going to be wearing barely any clothes, right?
And there's going to be amazing wrestling.
And I'm awesome. I am genuinely incredible.
That's what I meant by
I'm
the
an
amazing
absolute delight. I am a once in a lifetime superstar, and tomorrow I am going to perform like nobody else can perform for all you beautiful people. So come on down to the show and check it out, because this is the hottest ticket in town. I've been wrestling 17 years now. If you haven't seen one of my matches yet, then where have you been? It's going to be near you. So come down and check it out, because I promise you, you are going to love it.
Thank you so much for being with me today. It's been a pleasure.
You're welcome.